श्री नित्यानंदेश्वर परमशिव प्रीत्यर्थं च अद्य पूर्वोक्त एवं गुण विशेषेण विशिष्टायाम् अस्यां शुभदितौ पूर्ण आरोग्य युक्त दृढ़गात्र यौगिक शरीर सिद्ध्यर्थं परमशिव शक्ति आविष्करणार्थं नित्यानंद योगाभ्यासं करिष्ये.
Now wash your hand once more as we chant.
ओम अपौपस्पृश्य.
Keep your Panchapacham and Udani out of harm's way as we are getting ready to start the yoga. Now sit in a comfortable cross-legged position with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Bring the index fingers and thumbs joined together on top of the knees in Bindu Mudra. Engage the three bandhas, the energy locks, which are contracting the perineal region and pulling it in and up. The Uddiyana Bandha, the stomach lock, contracting your stomach muscles and pulling your stomach in and up towards your spine. And the Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock, tucking your chin to the chest and internally contracting your throat muscles. Together they form Mahamudra Bandha, which is a great secret of the yogic practice and will enhance your yoga practice manifold. Next up is the visualization. Hold the visualization for the right context of each of the asanas. The first visualization is Lord Shiva. You will always be able to see the visualization in the top right corner of the screen. So whenever you don't know how the visualization looks, you can just check the screen. Next up is Samana Kumbhaka. Now fill your stomach with prana as you meditate on a flame in your stomach, kindling the prana and raising up your spine. Chant the japa soham and visualize it rotating around your throat until the nectar oozes out into your body. Let us now perform the first asana, which is Sukhasana.
तत्सुखासनमित्युक्तम् अशक्तस्तत्समाचरेत् आसनं विजितं येन जितं तेन जगत्त्रयम्.
The next asana is Parvatasana. Now bring your legs into Padmasana with the feet on top of the opposite thighs. Then bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra and raise them up above your head, keeping your elbows straight. Engage all three bandhas, Mahamudra Bandha, as you visualize yourself as Mount Kailash.
अथ वक्षे महादेव पर्वतासन मंगलम्.
The next asana is Hali Pavasana. Now bring the soles of your feet together in front of your body and hold the left hand by the right behind your back as you lean forward and place your forehead on the ground behind your heels. Engage all three bandhas as you gaze to the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
पूर्व विधियाहु में जानो उभय पकतली संपुट ठानो.
The next asana is Nagi Pavasana. Now keep the soles of your feet together and stretch your hands out in front of the feet, cupping your palms, placing them down on the ground as you place your forehead on the ground behind your heels. Engage all three bandhas and gaze to the tip of your nose, visualizing yourself as a snake.
पूर्व विधि परियागाने नीचौ हो वे कहूनि फनास्यो लगाई.
Next up is Kokilasana. Now hold the big toes with the index and middle fingers in Prana Mudra. Then raise the legs up straight and then cross them into Padmasana, leaning forward and down onto your elbows. Engage all three bandhas as you visualize yourself as a bird.
ठान्यदासनं वक्ष्ये येन सिद्धो भवेन्नरः.
The next asana is Neti Asana. Now place one ankle on top of the opposite knee as you hold onto the opposite elbows. Engage all three bandhas, rotate your arms in a circle and gaze to the nose, visualizing Swamiji in your inner space, and after some time change the direction of the movement.
घोड़ा बामा पादगी आशमाहिली सोये दक्ष चरण को वार लोता परिकुल्फ समोय.
The next asana is Gajasana. Now press your hands onto the ground, lifting your hips up high. Lower your head, then your chest, scooping the body forward and down again and again as you visualize yourself as an elephant. And perform Uddiyana Bandha, the stomach lock, and Mula Bandha, the root lock, as you do so.
युज्यं पादाग्रे भूमौ कृत्वा लम्बी भूया मस्तकाग्रे निधाय
The next asana is Vrikshasana. From the same position, alternate pressing the heel of one foot into the ground while lifting the other heel up. Visualize yourself as a bear as you keep Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha engaged.
एकैकं पादमाकुञ्च्य गजासनं कुर्यात् वृक्षासनं भवति.
The next asana is Vaishyasana. Now stand tall on the mat with the tips of the on the tips of the big toes, with all other toes raised off the ground. As you keep your head, neck, and spine in a straight line, and bring your index, middle, and ring fingers to the heart center in Hridaya Mudra. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space and perform Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha.
केशेन पादयुगलं बद्ध्वा तिष्ठेत अधोमुखः.
Next up is the Urdhva Janukarana. Stand with your heels touching, toes facing outwards at a 45-degree angle, and the knees bent in Adimandi. Now, bring both hands to the chest with the elbows parallel to the ground. Then lift one knee up towards the center of your body, followed along with the respective hand as you make circular motions on both sides again and again. The next asana is Balalingasana. Now interlace your fingers from the outside in Sarvashankari Mudra and hold on to one knee, pulling it up towards your chest. Keep your head, neck, and spine in a straight line and visualize yourself holding a baby as you engage all three bandhas, Mahamudra Bandha.
एकं जानूरधियालिङ्ग्य स्थातव्यं बाललिङ्गनं भवति.
You move on to Padapidanasana. Now take the foot and pull it behind towards your buttocks. Hold it with both hands. Be straight. Engage all three bandhas as you visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
त्वैकस्मिन् पादतले कराभ्यां वेष्टयेत्तनुम्.
The next asana is Natarajasana. Standing on one leg, hold on to one foot and extend it backwards as you lean forward and stretch your arm out in front in Bindu Mudra with the index finger and thumb touching as you visualize yourself dancing as Lord Nataraja and perform the Mula Bandha.
उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्.
Now stand on the other leg and repeat Balalingasana on the other side, pulling the knee up towards your chest and visualize yourself caressing a baby.
एकं जानूरधियालिङ्ग्य स्थातव्यं बाललिङ्गनं भवति.
Now repeat Padapidanasana on the other side. Pull the other foot towards your buttocks and visualize Swamiji in your inner space, engaging all three bandhas.
स्थित्वैकस्मिन् पादतले कराभ्यां वेष्टयेत्तनुम्.
Now repeat Natarajasana on the other side, visualizing yourself as Lord Nataraja.
उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्.
Next up is the Ardha Rechita Karana. From Adimandi position, bring the right foot behind the other with the toes down and the heel up. Keep the left hand at the chest and swing the right arm back and forth, gracefully moving the fingers one by one. Now keep the right hand over top of the nose, uncross your ankles, and repeat the movement on the other side. Next up is the skeleton dance. Now visualize yourself as a skeleton as you shake your body intensely. We move on to Karana. From Adimandi, with the heels together, toes pointing outwards and the knees bent. Bring your hands above your head with the arms crossed, palms facing backwards. Now open your hips to one side and open the arms along above your head. Return to the center and repeat the movement on both sides again and again. The next asana is Tadasana. Now stand tall on the tips of the big toes as you raise your hands up above your head, beside your ears. Engage all three bandhas. Visualize yourself as a palm tree as you internally chant the new japa Shivoham.
महामुद्राबद्ध कोनो ताड़ासन विभेदकान.
Next up is Uttanasana. From a standing position, lean forward and down, bringing your hands flat to the ground. Take precaution in the case that you are a pregnant woman. For pregnant women, shouldn't perform any of the forward bends. Now engage all three bandhas and bring your forehead towards the knees as you visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
महामुद्राबद्ध कोनो ताड़ासन विभेदकान.
The next asana is Tadakshvasana, the plank position. Now lower your body down onto your arms and feet as you tuck your chin to the chest and rotate your head from side to side, contracting your perineal region. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space. Keep breathing in the Samana Kumbhaka, filling your stomach with prana and visualizing a flame rising up your spine.
गजासनवस्थित्वा मस्तकं वारं वारं दक्षिणकुक्षिं सव्यकुक्षिं नजेत्.
The next asana is Bhujangasana. Now lower your entire body down onto your stomach as you keep the toes pointing backwards and your hands next to the chest. Now raise your head up using the strength of your lower back. Don't lift your body any higher than your belly button up. And open your mouth wide as you inhale through the hollow of your throat in Bhujangani Mudra. Visualize yourself as a cobra as you perform the Mula Bandha.
अंगुष्ठनाभिपर्यन्तम् अधो भूमौ विनिन्यसेत्.
The next asana is Shashasana. Now push your body up back into the plank position and alternate bringing one knee in towards your chest back and forth as you visualize Swamiji in your inner space and calmly breathe through your nose in Sahadra Kumbhaka.
जासन संस्थितो जानुद्वयमाकुञ्च्य वारं वारं कर्तव्यं शशासनं भवति.
The next asana is Rathasana. From a tall plank position, place one foot in between the two hands as you simultaneously jump one foot back and bring the other one in between the hands. Alternate again and again as you visualize yourself as a chariot.
गजासन संस्थितो एकैकं पादं पुरोमार्गेण भ्रामयित्वा कर्तव्यं रथासनं भवति.
The next asana is Vidavajrasana. Now keep one foot flat on the ground with the toes pointing forwards and the knee bent at a 90-degree angle. Now extend the other leg back, keep the knee straight and the toes pointed outwards. Raise your arms up parallel, pull the stomach in and up and gaze to your third eye, visualizing yourself as Lord Vidavajra as you perform Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha.
आधिष्ठमतकौण्डिन्यमूर्धकुक्कुटमेव च.
Now exchange the position of your feet and repeat Viravatasana on the other side.
समतकौण्डिन्यमूर्धकुक्कुटमेव च.
The next asana is Vrikshasana, the tree posture. Now stand and bring one foot to the inner thigh as you bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra and raise them up above your head. Keep your elbows straight as you gaze forward and visualize yourself as a tree.
अमोरमूलदेशे च याम्यं पादं निधायतु.
The next asana is Garudasana. Now bring the raised leg to the opposite hip. Join your hands in Namaskara Mudra in front of your heart center as you visualize yourself as Lord Garuda and engage the Mula Bandha.
गरुडासनमावक्षे येन ध्यानं स्थिरं भवेत्.
Now stand on your other leg and repeat Vrikshasana on the other side.
वामोरुमूलदेशे च जाम्यं पादं निधायतो.
Now repeat Garudasana on the other side, keeping the standing leg as straight as a rod and visualizing yourself as Lord Garuda.
गरुडासनमावक्ष्ये येन ध्यानं स्थिरं भवेत्.
The next asana is Trikonasana. Now stand and step one leg forward and the other one far back, keeping the front toes pointing forwards and the back toes facing sideways. Now bring your hands parallel to the ground and lean forward and down as you keep one hand down and the other one raised up. Gaze upwards, visualizing yourself as a triangle as you perform the Mula Bandha.
उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्.
Exchange the position of your feet. Step the other leg forward as you repeat Trikonasana on the other side.
उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्.
Next up is the Nikutaka Karana. From Adimandi position, heels touching, toes pointing outwards and the knees bent. Raise one heel off the ground and bring your hands in front of the heart center with the palms facing each other. Now stump the rest heel to the ground, raise the other heel up and exchange the position of your hands again and again. The next asana is Angushtasana. Now lower your body down onto the tips of your toes, placing the perineum on the back of your heels. Raise your knees off the ground and keep them together as you join your palms in front of your heart center in Namaskara Mudra. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space as you breathe in Brahmari Kumbhaka, buzzing like a bee on the inhalation and exhalation as you perform the Mula Bandha and internally chant the new japa Sadashivoham.
बन्धासनमित्याहुः गोरक्षासनमेव च.
The next asana is Saurasana. From the tips of the toes, extend one leg straight out with the heel down and the toes up. Keep your fingers down on the ground by the sides with the palms facing forward in Vara Mudra. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space as you perform the Mula Bandha.
प्रसार्य एकं पादतलं संस्थाप्य त्वेकपादकम्.
The next asana is Virunanasana. Now, from Saurasana, lean forward and hold on to the big toe in Prana Mudra. As you hold the back heel with the other hand, balance. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space and perform the Mula Bandha.
गुल्फस्थितो पादमेकं प्रसार्य तत्पादाग्रं संस्पृश्य तत्करेण.
Now exchange the position of your feet. Stretch the other leg forward as you repeat Saurasana on the other side.
प्रसार्य एकं पादतलं संस्थाप्य त्वेकपादकम्.
Now again, lean forward and down, holding on to the front foot and the back heel. Repeating Vidunanasana on the other side.
स्थितो पादमेकं प्रसार्य तत्पादाग्रं संस्पृश्य तत्करेण.
The next asana is Brahmajarankushasana. As you keep the toes on the ground and the perineum placed on top of the heels, which are raised off the ground, keep a gap between your legs and place the back of your hands on top of the respective knees. Contract the perineal region and tuck your chin to the chest as you gaze in between the two hands in Shambhavi Mudra, with eyes opened wide, unblinking, actually gazing within. As you visualize Swamiji within and perform the Jalandhara Bandha and Mula Bandha.
द्वौ भणापाणि होय वैसे एड़ी मेल रघुदानि वैसे.
The next asana is Kapilasana. Now drop your knees to the ground with the toes tucked behind, sitting your perineum on the heels. As you keep your hands on top of the respective thighs and pull your stomach in and up, contract the perineal region, gaze to the tip of the nose and visualize yourself as Sage Kapila Muni.
उभय पगदली समटारावे तिनकी माहली कोर मिलावे.
The next asana is Bhadragodakasana. Maintain the same position as you shift your gaze up to the third eye. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space as you buzz like a bee in Brahmari Kumbhaka.
दो भूपकदली संपुट करे कौरवाली भूपरि धरे.
The next asana is Suryasana. Now sit with your toes tucked, perineum placed on top of the raised heels. As you bring your thumbs and little fingers together in Padma Mudra, opening up the palms resembling a lotus flower. Now raise your hands up above your head as you gaze up in between the gap between the palms, visualizing yourself as Lord Surya.
एडी दो गुदातरी आने फना पानी बैठक अब निठाने.
The next asana is Mandukasana. Now sit with the toes flat, perineum on the heels. As you keep your hands on top of the knees, lift the tongue up against the roof of your mouth. As you catch the nectar of immortality dripping from the Sahasrara chakra with your frog tongue, as you visualize yourself as a frog in Manduki Mudra. Gaze to your third eye, breathe calmly through your nose in Sahajra Kumbhaka as you perform the Mula Bandha.
तलो पृष्ठ देशे अंगुष्ठे द्वे च संस्पृशेत्.
The next asana is Uttana Mandukasana. Maintain the same sitting posture, but bring your hands behind your back, holding onto the opposite shoulders. Gaze to your third eye, visualize yourself as a frog as you keep your tongue pressed against the palate of your mouth in Manduki Mudra. Perform Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha as you do so.
मंडूकासन मध्यस्थं कुर्पराभ्यां धृतं शिरः.
The next asana is Simhasana. Now cross your ankles and sit on your feet. As you keep the knees wide, fingers spread on top of the knees, open your mouth wide, stick out your tongue and exhale forcefully as you gaze at the tip of your nose and visualize yourself as a lion.
दक्षिणं सव्यगुल्फेन दक्षिणेन ततेतरम्.
The next asana is Bhadrasana. Now sit with your heels under the perineum, the knees open wide, then cross your hands behind your back and hold onto the big toes in Prana Mudra. As you gaze at the tip of your nose, visualize Swamiji in your inner space and return to buzzing like a bee in Brahmari Kumbhaka.
गुल्फौ च वृषणस्याधो व्युत्क्रमेण समाहितः.
The next asana is Kakabusandhi Asana. Now squat and keep the feet flat on the ground as you keep your knees open wide and bring your arms in and around the raised knees. Interlace your fingers behind your back if you can. As you visualize yourself as a crow and gaze to the tip of your nose as you engage the Mula Bandha.
तमे वेशक उगठाने दो गोहा तपगमी च आने.
The next asana is Kanipavasana. Now keep the palms on the floor, shoulder width apart. Bring your knees onto the back of your arms towards your armpits. Lean forward, raise your feet off the ground as you visualize Swamiji in your inner space and balance on your arms.
को गुण आशी दुष्टता होई तो आछी होई.
The next asana is Kapali Asana. Now place your hands on the ground, shoulder width apart. Bring the top of your head onto the ground. Please take precautions if you have any neck injuries or high blood pressure. Any of the inverted postures. Now bring your knees onto the elbows, your hips over the shoulders, and straighten your legs up as you gaze to the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
ईशा धरती टेकी पग दो वो मिलीवा ऊंचा करे.
The next asana is Parshvamayurasana. Now squat on the toes with the legs together, twist your body and place both hands to the side as you align your elbows with the knee and hip and lean onto your arms, balance, extending your legs to the side. Gaze to your third eye as you visualize yourself as a peacock and exhale fully in Rechaka Kumbhaka as you hold your breath in the exhaled state. Perform the Mula Bandha as you do so.
मयूरं दंडवत् कुर्यान् मायूरं दंडनामकम्.
Now, twist your body in the other direction and repeat Parshvamayurasana on the other side.
मयूरं दंडवत् कुर्यान् मायूरं दंडनामकम्.
The next asana is Bhairaganathasana. Now place both hands on the ground, shoulder width apart. Stretch your legs back straight into Tadakshvasana, the plank position. As you step one foot outside the respective shoulder and bring it in between the two hands. Gaze to your third eye. Visualize yourself as Lord Kala Vaidava. As you breathe in your Rechaka Kumbhaka and perform the Mula Bandha.
आसन की गुण पीती जागी.
Now step the front foot back and step the other foot outside the shoulder in between the hands. Gaze to your third eye in Shambhavi Mudra with the eyes open wide, unblinking, as you visualize yourself as Lord Kala Bhairava.
आसन को गुण पीती जाई.
The next asana is Unmukha Pitasana. From Tadakshvasana, the plank position, bring your forearms down on the ground as you walk your feet forward, raising your hips. Lift your chest and head up and gaze to your third eye, visualizing Swamiji in your inner space.
भून्यस्थो जानुनी हस्तो चतुष्पदम वाङ्मुखम्.
The next asana is Vashishthasana. From Tadakshvasana, rotate your body onto one hand and raise the opposite hand up. Keep the balancing hand directly beneath your shoulder as you raise your hips and gaze up towards the sky, visualizing yourself as Sage Vashishta as you perform the Mula Bandha.
ऊर्ध्वकुक्कुटवासिष्ठ मरीचिहलमच्यकम्.
Now twist your body in the other direction. Balance on the other hand as you repeat Vashishthasana.
ऊर्ध्वकुक्कुटवासिष्ठ मरीचिहलमच्यकम्.
Now come to a seated position and extend your legs out in front with the heel down and the toes pointing up. Now bring your hands under the buttocks with the palms facing up. Keep your spine straight, elbows close to your body. Tuck your chin to the chest. Contract the perineal region. As you gaze through the nose, visualize yourself as Lord Hanuman and internally chant the new japa Mahasadashivoham.
दो बूगर की उभय हथेली कोरवारली मैले भेली.
Next up is Paschimottanasana. Now visualize Swamiji in your inner space as you lean forward and down, holding onto the big toes in Prana Mudra. Perform Mahamudra Bandha, all three bandhas engaged, and exhale all the air from your lungs in Rechaka Kumbhaka.
जानो बरिला लाटंतो पश्चिमं दानमुच्यते.
The next asana is Ugrasana. With your legs straight, interlace your fingers behind your neck. Lean your chest forward and down, bringing your head to the knees by the strength of your core. Engage all three bandhas as you visualize Kali in your inner space.
शुभानिभ्यां दृढं धृत्वा जानो परिशिरोऽन्यसेत्.
The next asana is Marichi asana. Now, sit with the legs extended, bring one heel to the groin with the knee raised, and reach your arm in and around the raised knee as you clasp your hands behind your back. Bring your chest to the thighs, head to the knee, and visualize yourself as Sage Marichi.
उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्
Now drop the knee down to the ground and lean forward, holding onto the front foot with both hands. As you exhale all the air from your lungs, gaze to the nose, visualize Swamiji, and perform Mahamudra Bandha in Mahamudrasana.
मुद्रां प्रवक्ष्यामि तन्त्रेऽस्मिन् मम वल्लभे.
Now extend the other leg out. Bring the other heel towards the perineum with the knee raised. As you lean forward and interlace your fingers behind your back, in Marichi Asana on the other side.
उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्.
Now drop the knee down, lean forward, hold onto the foot, engage all three bandhas, repeating Mahamudrasana on the other side.
महामुद्रां प्रवक्ष्यामि तन्त्रेऽस्मिन् मम वल्लभे.
The next asana is Bhadrasana 2. As you sit and bring the soles of the feet together with your heels close to the perineum, keep your knees wide, hold your feet firmly with both hands, and maintain a straight spine as you gaze to the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
उल्भौ तु वृषणस्यादः सीवन्त्याः पार्श्वयोः क्षिपेत्.
The next asana is Gvali Pavasana. From Bhadrasana, extend your feet away from your body. Keep the toes together, heels apart, knees wide open. As you place your hands on the respective knees, tuck your chin to the chest and gaze to the nose. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space. Perform the Jalandhara Bandha and Mula Bandha.
पूर्वचरपट चौक कहियो सोजी वाही विधियो की जे सोई.
The next asana is Joni Asana. Now sit, keep the soles of the feet together and the heels close to your perineum as you visualize the Yoni Mandala, which is projected on the screen. Now hold the soles of the feet as you lean forward and down and bring the forehead to the feet as you gaze to the nose and perform the Mula Bandha.
दो बगतली संपुट करे एड़ी मेड़ के ढिंग धरे.
The next asana is Midaki Pavasana. As you sit and keep the heels together, toes apart and the knees wide, lean forward and down and extend your hands out to the side. Keep the palms facing down on the ground to the sides as you bring your forehead to the ground behind your heels. Gaze to your nose, visualize Swamiji and perform the Mula Bandha.
पूर्व विधि परिबगधली संपुट शोल एड़ी मिली राशे.
Next up is Siddha Samadhi Asana. Now sit and keep the toes together, heels apart. As you bring your arms below the shins, extend them out to the sides and keep the palms facing up. Bring your forehead to the ground above your feet as you bring your toes near your throat if you can. Gaze to the tip of your nose, visualize Lord Surya in your inner space and perform the Mula Bandha.
दो बगतली संपुट करे शोले मेड़ आगा में धरे.
Next up is Chinaki Pavasana. Now sit and keep the heels together, toes apart, as you hold the feet and open them up like a book, bringing the backs of your hands onto the ground and the elbows pressing down on the thighs. Gaze at the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
दो बगांगी एड़ी धरती मगिवा मेड़ लगावे.
The next asana is Chadapata Chukasana. Sit and bring the soles of the feet together with the heels at your perineum. Open the knees and place your hands on top of the knees as you gently press them down. Pull your stomach in and up, gaze to your third eye as you visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
द्वौपकतली संपुटधारे आगाने करजार पसारे
The next asana is Bhairavasana. Now sit and bring the soles of the feet together with your knees open wide. Lift the heels up and bring the toes down onto the ground. As you keep your knees on the ground, pull your stomach in and up and place your hands on the knees in Bindu Mudra. Gaze to your third eye as you visualize yourself as Lord Kala Bhairava.
सुलभौ संपीड्य जान्योन्यं विक्रमेणोत्थितं शनैः
The next asana is Samanasana. Now sit with one heel at the perineum. Lift and hold the other foot, pulling the sole of the foot to your chest. Gaze to your third eye as you perform the Mula Bandha and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
समानासनमावक्षे सिद्धमन्त्रादिसाधनात्
The next asana is Apanasana. As you sit, place one leg on top of the respective shoulder and raise the other foot upwards and straight. Keep the hands on the ground to the sides as you gaze to your third eye and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
परं पादमेकं च स्कन्धे चारोपि यत्नतः
Now repeat Samanasana on the other side. Bring the other heel towards your perineum and pull the opposite foot towards your chest.
समानासनमावक्षे सिद्धमन्त्रादिसाधनात्
Now repeat Apanasana on the other side. Bring the other leg over top of the respective shoulder, extending the opposite leg forward and up.
परं पादमेकं च स्कन्धे चारोपि यत्नतः
Next up is Gomukhasana. Now sit and cross one leg over the other, aligning the knees at the center of your body with the feet by the opposite hips. Place both hands on top of the stacked knees as you gaze to the nose, visualize the face of a cow, and perform the Mula Bandha. Start breathing in Siddhkari Kumbhaka, pressing your tongue against the palate of your mouth without touching the teeth and hissing through your teeth while inhaling. Internally chant the new japa Om Nithyanandoham.
सव्ये दक्षिणगुल्फं तु पृष्ठपार्श्वे नियोजयेत्
The next asana is Anasuyasana. Now maintain the same posture. Hold on to the big toes of the feet in Prana Mudra as you gaze to the tip of your nose and visualize yourself as Rishika Anasuya. Engage Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha.
दक्षिण कोडो नीचो ठाने वावोता के ऊपर आने
Maintain the same position. Interlace your fingers behind your back and lean forward and down as you bring your chin over the knees, the nose towards the ground, and visualize yourself as Rishika Anasuya in Anasuyasana too.
जीमणा गोदा की संधि उपरिड़ा वागोड़ा की संधि
The next asana is Garudasana too. Now sit on the ground with one heel pressed against the perineum. As you keep the opposite foot flat on the ground with the knee raised to your chest. Keep the hands on the respective knee. As you visualize yourself as Lord Garuda, gaze to the nose and perform the Mula Bandha.
दावोपगमोडी एडी माहिलो गुल्फ मूलद्वारणी चैदे
The next asana is Naradasana. Now, sit and place your perineum on top of one heel as you interlace your fingers behind your neck. and twist your elbows outside of the raised knee. Gaze to your third eye and visualize yourself as Narada as you perform the Mula Bandha.
पिष्टि जवाम पगदली केरी भूपरिता ही लगा बेफेरी.
Next up is Matsya Pitakasana. Now place one foot on top of the opposite thigh. Wrap the respective arm around the knee, holding onto the opposite shin as you hold the big toes with the other hand in Prana Mudra. Visualize yourself as Matsya, the fish avatar of Lord Vishnu, as you perform the Mula Bandha.
नवामाङ्गुष्टन्तो गृहीतं मध्यपीठकम्.
Now slide your knees over top with the other knee on top, repeating the Gomukhasana position on the other side. Gaze to the nose and visualize the face of a cow as you keep hissing through your teeth without the tongue touching your teeth. In Siddhkari Kumbhaka.
सव्ये दक्षिणगुल्फं तु पृष्ठपार्श्वे नियोजयेत्.
Next up is Anasuyasana on the other side. Hold onto the big toes as you visualize yourself as Rishika Anasuya.
दक्षिण कोडो नीचे उठाने वावो तागे ऊपर आने.
Now, from the same position, interlace your fingers behind your back and lean forward and down, chin over the knees, nose towards the ground in Anasuyasana too.
जीमणा गोदा की संधि उपरिड़ा वा गोड़ा की संधि.
Now repeat Garudasana 2 on the other side, bringing the other heel towards the perineum, knee raised, hands on the knees, as you visualize yourself as Lord Garuda.
डावो पगमोड़ी एड़ी माहिलो गुल्फमूल द्वार नीचे दे.
Next up is Narudasana on the other side. Raise the perineum onto the heel, interlace your fingers behind your neck, and twist your elbows outside of the raised knee, visualizing yourself as Sage Narada.
पिष्टि जवाम पगदली केरी भूपरिता ही लगा बेफेरी.
Next up is Matsya Pitakasana on the other side. Now place the other foot on top of the opposite thigh. Hold on to the shin and the big toe of that foot as you visualize Matsya, the fish avatar of Vishnu.
वामे नवामाङ्गुष्टन्तो गृहीतं मध्यपीठकम्.
Next up is Matsendrasana. Now place one foot on top of the opposite thighs as you place the opposite foot on the ground, flat. Twist and bring the elbow outside of the raised knee. Keep your raised arm by the neck. Turn your head back and gaze to your third eye, visualizing Matsyendranath, the great sage and master of Hatha Yoga.
उदरं पश्चिमाभासं कृत्वा तिष्ठति यत्नतः.
The next asana is Kubhasana. From Matsyendrasana, twist and bring your elbow outside of the raised knee as you extend your hand down to the foot, keeping the opposite hand at the respective ear. Twist your body back. Gaze back and up towards your third eye, visualizing yourself as a camel.
आसन को गुण झोल हो जाए.
Next up is Matsyendrasana 2. Keeping the hand extended down towards the foot, place your hand behind your body onto the ground as you gaze up to your third eye and visualize Matsyendranath.
मत्स्येन्द्रपीठं जठर प्रदीप्तिं प्रचण्ड रुक्मण्डल खण्डनास्त्रम्.
Now repeat Matsyendrasana on the other side. Extend the other leg out. Bring the opposite foot onto the thigh as you twist your elbow outside of the raised knee and gaze back.
उदरं पश्चिमाभासं कृत्वा तिष्ठति यत्ततः
The next asana is Kubhasana on the other side. Now hold on to the front big toe in Prana Mudra as you keep the other hand towards the respective ear, gazing back and up towards your third eye and visualizing yourself as a camel.
आसन को गुण झोलो जाए.
The hand to the ground behind you. Twist your body even further as you visualize Matsyendranath in Matsyendrasana too.
मत्स्येन्द्रपीडं जठरप्रदीप्तिं प्रचण्डरुक्मण्डलखण्डनास्त्रम्.
The next asana is Padmasana. Now place your feet on top of the opposite thighs as you keep your palms flat on the respective knees. Engage all three bandhas, Mahamudra Bandha, as you gaze at the tip of your nose. Visualize yourself as Lord Shiva. Breathe in Sitali Kumbhaka, now pressing your tongue against the back of the teeth, hissing while inhaling as you internally chant the new japa Om Nithyananda Mahasadaशिवोहम.
आसनं द्विविधं प्रोक्तं पद्मं वज्रासनं तथा.
The next asana is Padmasana too. As you sit in Padmasana, cross your hands in front of your body and hold onto the big toes in Prana Mudra. Gaze to the nose, visualize yourself as Goddess Parvati, the consort of Shiva, as you perform the Mula Bandha.
अनुचरणं कृत्वा ऊरू संस्थो प्रयत्नतः.
The next asana is Kukutasana. Now sitting in Padmasana, place your hands on the ground between the two thighs as you lift your body up off the ground. Visualize yourself as a rooster as you breathe calmly in Sahajra Kumbhaka and perform the Mula Bandha.
पद्मासनं सुसंस्थाप्य नान्बोरोरन्तरे करो.
The next asana is Baddha Keki Asana. From Padmasana, raise up onto the knees as you bring your hands flat on the ground with the fingers pointing backwards. Keep the elbows together, press them against the navel, and then lean forward. Find balance and extend your knees up off the ground. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space as you perform the Mula Bandha.
धरामवष्टभ्यकरद्वयेन तत्पूर्वपरि स्थापितानाभिपार्श्वः.
The next asana is Mayurasana. While on your knees, place your palms on the ground with the fingers pointing backwards. Keep your elbows at the navel, lean back, lean forward, find balance and extend your legs up off the ground, visualizing yourself as a peacock as you perform the Sahajra Kumbhaka and engage the Mula Bandha.
अथ वक्षे महादेव मयूरासनमुत्तमम्.
Next up is Makarasana. Lay down on your stomach with the feet pointing outwards and the forehead on the mat. Interlace your fingers behind your neck as you visualize yourself as a crocodile and perform the Mula Bandha.
अध्यासशेते हृदयं निधाय भूमौ च पादौ च प्रसार्यमानौ.
As you lay on your stomach, place your hands on the ground beside your chest. Raise your legs up, bring the thighs off the ground, visualizing yourself as a locust. In Shalabhasana.
अध्यासशेते करयुग्मवक्षो भूमिमवष्टभ्यकरयोः स्थलाभ्याम्.
The next asana is Ushtrasana. As you lay on your stomach, bring your hands to the feet. Pull the feet down towards the ground outside of your hips. As you visualize yourself as a camel and perform the Mula Bandha.
अध्यासिषेते पदयुग्मव्यस्तं पृष्ठे निधाय विधृतं कराभ्याम्
The next asana is Dhanurasana. From Ushtrasana, tighten the grip on your feet and kick the legs back and up as you lean forward and lift your chest off the ground. Gaze up to your third eye and visualize yourself as Pinaka, Lord Shiva's bow. Perform the Mula Bandha as you do so.
त्रिसार्यपादौ भुविदण्डरूपौ करौ च पृष्ठे धृतपादयुग्मम्.
The next asana is Bhagasana. Now come to a kneeling position with your feet flat on the ground, sitting in between the two heels. Place your hands on top of the knees. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space. Breathe calmly through your nose in Sahasrara Kumbhaka. As you gaze to your third eye, contract the perineal region in Mula Bandha and internally chant Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
उल्टा मोड़ी पाओ तो वैसे बहुरो जगते करे कैसे.
The next asana is Gohi Asana. From the kneeling position, place your elbows on the ground, shoulder width apart. As you interlace your fingers, bring your head towards the ground and hold it with your hands. Now raise your hips up. Walk your feet forward until your hips align with your shoulders. And then raise your legs up off the ground and pull the knees close to your chest. Try to touch your chin with the knees as you roll your body up in the inverted posture. Gaze to the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
दो हाथ की कहुनी जोई पुनिह कलाजी जाने दोई.
Now, from Gohi Asana, extend your legs up straight into Shirshasana. Gaze to the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space as you perform the Mula Bandha.
विपरीतं मण्डलं च द्विधैव विदितं हिनः.
Gently lower your body down and come to a seated posture. Now sit with your hands behind your calves and stretch your legs up. Bring your forehead to the knees as you come to a vertical position with your legs. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space and perform the Bhastika Kumbhaka, rapidly exhaling from your diaphragm, pushing the air out without inhaling, like the bellows of a blacksmith. We're going to perform Bhastika Kumbhaka for the next few asanas, so keep your core engaged and rapidly breathe through your nose.
दो हाथ पग बाहर आने घोड़ा तरे का कसी उठाने.
The next asana is Parighasana. Now sit and extend your legs out and up at a 45-degree angle. Bring your hands behind. Hold the opposite shoulders as you keep the chest upright, legs straight, toes pointed. Gaze to your third eye as you visualize yourself as a mace.
उत्तानशयनं कृत्वा पादौ मिलित्वा प्रसार्य.
Keep breathing rapidly as you sit and extend your legs out and up at a 45-degree angle. Keep your arms parallel to the ground or bring them down to the ground as you gaze to your third eye and visualize yourself as a boat in Naukasana.
उत्तानशयनं कुर्पराभ्यां भूमिमवष्टभ्य.
Next up is Rudrasana. Now sit and lift your feet up. Scoop your hands under the heels and pull the feet towards your chest. Keep your spine upright, gaze to the nose as you visualize yourself as Lord Rudra. Perform the Mula Bandha as you do so.
पगदली संपूटक हाथस्योपक उचाई.
The next asana is Unmukha Pitasana too. Now lay down on your back with the feet flat on the ground, the knees raised up. Bring your palms down to the ground with the fingers just touching the back of your heels. Lift your hips up high. Press the feet into the ground As you tuck your chin to the chest, gaze to the nose and visualize Swamiji in your inner space.
ऊर्ध्वे च जानुनी कृत्वा शवित्वोर्ध्वमुखं तथा उत्थाप्य हस्तौ तिष्ठेत्तु पीठ उन्मुख नामके.
Now lower your body down flat onto the ground. Keep the palms facing up next to your hips. As you contract the perineal region and forcefully pull the Kundalini Shakti up along your spine towards your Sahasrara chakra in Shakti Chalan Mudra. Relax. Completely unclutch from any micro movements of the body and mind. As you visualize that your body is dead and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, is liberating you. Internally chant the Mahavakya, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
उत्तानं शववद्भूमौ शयनं तोषवासनं शवासनं श्रान्तिहरं चित्तविश्रान्तिकारकम्.
ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम्. 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 ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम्.
Now slowly return to your physical body. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, your wrists and your ankles, your elbows and your knees. Pull your knees up towards your chest and rock your body from side to side as you return to a comfortable seated position. Congratulations, you completed the first 108 asanas of the sequence, which are the Dvithiya Vinyasa Krama. We are now going to continue the sequence with the next asana, which is Yathasana Nishthasana.
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahasadashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Greed or the fear to start. Both will not allow you to enjoy anything. So, when these two are there, no desire will be fulfilled. You will be pulled back again to fulfill the same desire. So, as long as you are not fulfilling your desires, not fulfilling your life, you will see again and again, you will be pulled back, you will be brought back to the earth to enjoy it. This is the explanation which I give for karma. Karma is not a fate or vidhi as you call it. According to my experience, there is no such thing as vidhi. The future is left completely open by existence. It is we who decide. If you live the present moment fully, without worrying about the past and the future, fully, deeply, truly, that is enough. You can free of karma. Karma cannot touch you. Drop the restlessness and drop the guilt for anything. Then you will see. You will be totally in the present moment. You will be totally able to receive it. You will be totally able to live it. Then no karma touches you. You will go beyond the karma. Do you understand?
What a beautiful introduction by Swamiji on karma and how you can just drop off the karma and merge with the existence. So next we'll be entering into the revelation by Swamiji on he'll be giving us details on what is karma. So of course we have to get out of karma, but first understand what is karma. So in this revelation, Swamiji will be guiding us through what is karma and how, means as an individual, how it is affecting our life and how we can relate karma to our life. So let's get ready. We'll be entering shortly into this revelation. Please come to the space of listening. Let's begin.
This one sutra, if you can understand, you are liberated from whatever the difficulties and complications you are carrying inside this moment. This moment you can be liberated. So many important deep secrets Patanjali is offering in this one sutra. First thing, we again and again take birth. Second important thing, the blueprint which we carry inside us is responsible for our whole life. That is what I call engraved memories. Very loosely we call karma, but I don't want to use that word because that word is loaded with too many meanings. Especially in the West also now that word has become popular. Everybody started using the word, let me make little good karma. Let me make some good karma. Engraved memory, samskara is the right word I wanted to use. That is the reason for our uniqueness. If you understand you are unique and look into your samskaras, please understand, as long as you think you are same, all are equal, we will be continuously fighting with others. You will be continuously fighting with others. Naturally you will ask, when you see any person, we are all equal. Why should you have this? Why not me? Why should you have this? Why not me? Why should I have this? Why not you? Either health or wealth or relationship, name and fame, in everything you will start comparing. and the fight will be going on. But if you understand you are unique, suddenly you start looking inside. You start looking your samskaras, your engrams. Person who thinks everybody is equal starts looking outer world to make everything equal, which never happens. Which never happens. Even after death, it will never be equal. Maybe even after death, things will never be equal, because the cremation is going to be in different places, different way. This country you have insurance also for that. Different casket, different way of cremation. And even I heard that there are premium plats available. The mountain view plats where you can rest forever. Anyhow, even after death, things are not going to become equal. So we will be constantly looking in the outer world and fighting. But if you understand we are unique, then you start looking inside. Why I am unique? Why I am the way in which I am? Why I am who I am? Why I am what I am? You start looking inside. Then naturally, the looking inside gives you the knowledge about the blueprint you are carrying. The blueprint you are carrying, the knowledge about the blueprint you are carrying is what I call ultimate knowledge. Please understand. Person who has a knowledge about the blueprint which he is carrying will never suffer. That is the end of the sufferings. In the Vedic tradition, we have something called Salokya Mukti, means living in the world where the God is, almost like a heaven, the heaven concept. In the heaven, there is no suffering. You may have body, you will live like everybody else. And there are so many descriptions. I don't know which description is true. So each civilization has its own description. The civilizations which lives in a very cold weather, they visualize their heaven as a hot place, warm place. The civilizations which lives in a hot place, they visualize their heaven as a very cool place. So each one has their own visualization. I can say it must be air controlled. For a person who is from a hot country, it is cool weather. For a person who is from cool place, it's a warm weather. Anyhow, they may have body, they will have everything, but no suffering. Please understand. I want you to know one truth. This is not a fantasy. This is not a fantasy. Patanjali is not a person to promote fantasies. He's a great scientist. When he says there is some solid truth behind it. See, if the same thing is said by Vyasa, I wouldn't have accepted. Because Vyasa writes all kinds of mythological stories. He goes on explaining so many Puranas, so many stories. The same thing is said by Vyasa. I may not have said it is a fact. I would have said it may be truth, but not fact. There is a difference between the two. Truth is told to raise your consciousness. It may not be reality now, but if you connect with it, you will be raised. But fact is fact, factual. With Vyasa, sometimes the truth and fact differ. But with Patanjali, he is very logical. The truth and fact is one and the same. He says, a person who has a knowledge about the samskaras, engraved memories, who can look inside, lives without any suffering. Please understand, he is using a beautiful word. He takes birth only due to the seeds of desires that are latent. You will have the body. See, if you understand all the samskaras you carry, if you look inside and understand your uniqueness, suddenly you will see you will not have any suffering. you will be living only with the latent desires. See, life lived just to fulfill the desires will never have suffering. Life lived with fear-based samskaras will have suffering. He says, Patanjali says, there is a life possible only with desire, without fear. You need to understand this. We know the life which is fear and greed. You have a greed, and if that greed is not fulfilled, or if you are afraid it may not be fulfilled, you have a fear. Even if it is fulfilled, you have a fear, it may not stay with you forever. You have a fear. So you understand a mental setup with fear and greed. But Patanjali says there is a mental setup possible just based on desires. It will be fulfilled. If it is not fulfilled, you know it is going to be fulfilled, so you will be waiting. That's all. See, the fear comes into play if there is a time limit. For example, you want to have such and such a kind of a food. So naturally, what will you think? I should have before I die. So when you are not getting the food this moment, constantly you will have fear. Before I get the food, if I die, what will happen? I should get the food before I die. So naturally, the network of your mind, software of your mind is written with fear and greed, intertwined. Fear and greed of the binary of your inner software. 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Fear, greed, fear, greed, fear, greed, fear, greed. But Patanjali says, by understanding your samskaras, you can live without fear. What is that understanding? Please understand. He doesn't have to tell a lie. He has no vested interests. He is a much more authentic scientist than any scientist, because even scientists are funded by some corporations or some people who have vested interests. So their research findings has to either completely turn or bend slightly towards the people who are funding their interests. But here is Patanjali. That is the beauty of our Vedic tradition. The people who are doing research and development in the Vedic, in the inner science, they say no funding. We will live a simple life, the utter simple life. 9 years I lived that life. 9 years I lived begging and eating, sleeping under the trees, going to different temples and monasteries and meditating. I won't even stay in the same monastery or same temple or same village, because the person who start giving me food, now I will be bound by that person. So the tradition says you can't eat in the same house more than 3 days. If you eat more than 3 days, your research and development may be corrupted based on the person who gives you the food. I mean, the Eastern tradition we care so much, and very logical. They care so much about from whom you eat, who takes care of your day-to-day needs. It's very carefully analyzed, and that plays a very major role. I want you to know an incident, very beautiful incident. In Mahabharata, if you know the Mahabharata story, you can enjoy what I am saying. In Mahabharata, there was a great, wonderful character, Bhishma. I can never think Mahabharata can be imagination, because such a powerful depiction of the characters. No brain can be so evolved to create that kind of fantasies. No brain can be that evolved to create that kind of fantasies. So it must be factual. Astras on him, on Bhishma, and he is just lying in the war field, but Bhishma has a power. He has one kind of a power. He has a boon. He will leave the body when he wants. Ichcha mrityu. His body can be diseased. He can have disease. He can be inflicted with pain. But he cannot be killed unless he himself wants. He can hang on to the body. So, even though he is almost dead, he was not even able to move his hands. He was keeping his body, he was keeping his life to die at the right time. In the Vedic tradition, we believe the last moment of your death, last moment, the time and the thought, the consciousness, the mood with which you are leaving the body, both play a major role in your next birth or enlightenment. It plays a major role. So Bhishma is just waiting for the right time. He is waiting for the Uttarayana, when the sun moves towards the north. He is waiting for that period to leave the body. But all the war is over. Dharma won the war, Dharmaraja. Now they are going to be coronated. They are going to sit in the throne. They wanted to take the blessings of Bhishma because he is the grandfather. All of them, all the Panchabandavas, Draupadi and Krishna, all of them are going and touching the feet of Bhishma, asking him to bless that they will rule the country blissfully. They will run the kingdom. Bhishma blesses. Not only he blesses, he gives beautiful set of teachings, amazing teachings. How to run a kingdom. I can say the depth he looks, it's a textbook for politicians. Textbook for politicians. If you want to know about Vedic politics, how a politics is done with a Vedic mind, with a Vedic understanding, in Vedic civilization, read that book. He gives a beautiful set of teachings. How that idea of protecting and serving is very beautifully expanded. He gives amazing teachings. Once the teachings are given, Draupadi just laughs in a very disrespectful way, in a very careless way. She just laughs, giggles. Nobody was able to understand why she is giggling. Bhishma just looks and says, "My dear daughter, I can understand. I can understand why you are laughing." Then suddenly Draupadi realized that she disrespected Bhishma. She wipes her tears and says, "Father, you know why I laughed. I wanted to really ask you. I want to tell you. You know so much about Dharma, so much about what is right and what is wrong. But how did you keep quiet when I was abused, when they were pulling my cloth in front of you in the court?" In the court of Duryodhana, Draupadi was abused. They were pulling her clothes, trying to make her naked in the court. The villain, Duschadana, was trying to pull her clothes. So she asks, "How you are able to keep quiet? What happened to all your dharma which you are talking now? Why you did not speak all these things at that moment? Why you kept quiet?" Beautifully Bhishma answers, "It's a truth. Please understand, even though my bone structure is made out of dharma, my flesh and blood was given by the food which was given by Duryodhana. So his food, I became dull. I forgot the dharma. My brain did not recover the memories of dharma because of his food. Maybe my body is made out of dharma, but the food he gave, I ate his food for many years, number of years. So because of that food, my thinking also became like him. Actually, if you look inside, sometime you can see in your own life. For example, if you are a top level administrator of some company, if you are heavily paid by your boss and you are an inner circle of your boss, you can see very clearly, even though it is not dharma, it is not right, you don't feel disturbed at all to think in the way or the language of your boss. You suddenly know, you know very clearly it is not right, but you just beautifully think. You don't feel guilt at all. You can see in your own life. The person who plays so much in your consciousness, on your consciousness, many times you forget the logic. You forget the logic. Many times you don't even remember what you did. What you did, what you are doing. Please understand. Look inside. Look inside. What Bhishma says, you can see as your own experience. If you are top circle of your boss, you can see very clearly because he pays. And the problem is you don't even think it is wrong. Even though you know it is wrong, you don't even take time to create guilt, analyze it and create at least your own justification. Even that much you don't wait. Even that much we will not be aware. Many times it happens. So, Bhishma says, the food which he gave was running in my system. So, my consciousness was not even that much clear or aware to create a clear understanding which is right, which is wrong. But now, because of Arjuna's arrows, all that blood has left my system. Now I am drained of the blood given by Duryodhana, the food which went inside my system and became my flesh. Everything has left my system. Now I am myself. That is why I am telling you the truth. I am giving you the law, how to run a country, how to run a whole system. I can say that law book which Bhishma gives is directly based on the law of the cosmos, law of the whole cosmos. I can say Bhishma gave his constitution to run a country based on the constitution of the cosmos. Just from that very own understanding, he created the constitution. It's an amazing constitution. I had chance to go through. Clearly defines not only do's and don'ts, the mental thinking, the setup, thinking setup from which the do's and don'ts arise. See, if you are just taught do's and don'ts, vidhi nisheda, in Sanskrit we call vidhi nisheda, do's and don'ts, naturally what will you do? Oh, it's a law enforced on me. When I don't see the cup, I can press the gas. That's all. When I see the cup, I have to press the brake. That's what we understand. You see, by law, we are taught how to technically escape from the law. Most of the time, any word, it only takes us little time, that's all. A person who takes little time and thinks technically and finds a way to this side and that side, some holes, is called citizen. Person who doesn't take that much of time or intelligence, straight away lives as he wants, is a criminal. That's all. Otherwise, usually, when it is told just as a law, We always have a problem in following. But Bhishma, amazing intelligence, he gives you the mental setup from which the do's and don'ts arise. We call it sutra. He gives the sutra. So anybody who internalizes, he knows the do's and don'ts, and he will not have any problem living it. He doesn't need law enforcement department. Maybe with minimum law enforcement department, that system can be run just with a supervising, not enforcing, just supervising. Maybe I can call the Bhishma system is law supervising department. Creates such a strong system. He says, now all that old blood has left me. I am new. That is why the dharma comes out. So be very clear. Be aware from whom you are getting your food, with whom you are sharing your life, under whom you are living. If you look inside and understand the samskara, the mental setup, Patanjali says you can live just with desire without fear. What can be that mental setup? What can be that secret? He says, the person who understood that secret, in the last few sutras, he very beautifully describes the 18th sutra. He says, Virama pratyaya abhyasa purva samskara seshonyaha. He says, in this samadhi, which is attained by the constant practice of cessation of all mental activity, the chitta, mind, retains only the engrams which does not create any disturbance in your inner space. See, Patanjali says, you can live with your regular life with engrams which does not disturb your inner space without any fear. I can say Patanjali is the only hope for the whole humanity. Buddha cannot be hope for the whole humanity, because as far as his teaching goes, the only sannyas is possible. Sannyas is the only path. That is why thousands and thousands of people have become swamis, sannyasis. Then who will run the country? I can say at least 100 kings of Buddha's time, they became swamis. And all those countries were left. Maybe some minister would have become king and whatever it is, but drain has happened. Such an intelligent people, all have left their positions of running the system. Brain drain has happened. So Buddha may not be suitable for all the civilizations, for the whole humanity, because he says, renounce, that is the only path. But here is Patanjali, he is not saying renounce, no. He says it is possible to live with samskaras, with engrams, without fear, without disturbance. How can that be? How can that be? What kind of mental setup we need? What is the secret? He says very beautifully, when body-mind identification is overcome, it's a kind of a unique logic. Please understand. If you understand few secrets of this Patanjali Yoga Sutra, a unique kind of a mind gets developed. A kind of a mind gets developed. That mind, living with that mind itself is an amazing freedom. I have seen sometime People almost behave so illogically. That's what Patanjali beautifully says. In the earlier sutras he says, having thoughts is not thinking. Having thoughts is not thinking. Just when I was walking now, some of the devotees were talking with me and I was walking. Suddenly one lady came and fell at my feet in the front. It was naturally anybody while they are walking, if you fall at their feet, what it is? Surely it is not devotion. It's almost like guerrilla attack. And I asked her, and she is not getting up, that is another one thing. It's getting delayed, I have to come for the discourse. And people are all waiting here. She is not moving. And finally 2-3 disciples have to lift her. And I asked her, Ma, do you think it is a devotion? Why don't you understand? She says, yeah, for me it is devotion only. I just asked, don't you think just if I tumble down, what will happen? She said, no, you are God, you can't tumble down. Two things. I am not saying yes or no, whatever our belief is our belief. I don't want to hurt her by saying yes or no or all those things. The logic, you see, as per our logic, if I am God, she doesn't have to come and jump on me. Standing there, if you pray, that's enough. I'll hear whatever you want to tell. I would have heard. See, you should be in any one logic. Either you should accept a logic, I am a good person who knows little spirituality, a guru. Or her logic. See, I am playing from the logic that I am a guru, that's all. She is trying to play from the logic that I am God. Even in that logic, if she is very clear, she doesn't need to jump and catch. She doesn't need to harass me for 15 minutes. It is not needed. If she thinks, even as per our idea, if I am God, then stand in one corner and your prayers will be naturally heard. I may not hear, but your trust that I am God, that trust itself will connect you with the divine. Whom you trust is not important. The very trust is powerful enough to liberate you. Many times people come and tell me, Swamiji, I am seeing Vibhuti coming out of your photograph, Kumkum coming out of your photograph. I tell them, oh, that's nice. I think I can also have one photograph in my room. I can get Vibhuti from that. Because I don't get from my photograph, I get it only from my cup. And I tell them, surely I am not involved. Your trust with the Master is intelligent enough to connect you with the cosmos. And that expresses different miracles. I am not involved. I am not going to every house and putting little vibhuti out of photograph, giving little kumkum out of photograph. No. I neither have will nor have ego to do all that job. That is different. I am not involved. You are trust. But at least be clear in that logic. She is neither clear in that logic, and not only that, she became I could see very clearly. She became so arrogant, and her whole behavior and the whole thing, it's almost like she is fighting. You are God, you can't fall. I said, I am not hurting your sentiment or devotion. Understand, after all, I have a human body. And I am walking. And I am walking on the ground. On the ground. When I am walking on the ground, the logics of the ground applies to me. Logics of the ground applies to me. See, just because you believe, the logics of the ground is not going to change. Sometimes people have their own logic and very funny things. Another one guy in South India, when I was giving darshan, he has bitten my feet. I asked him, why did you do that? No, Swamiji, I read in a book, if an enlightened master remembers you, it is good for you. So he wants me to remember him continuously. Now, what all funny things goes on? People have their own logic. Having a straight logic, the honest logic, which connects you with the cosmos. Finally, I can neither shout at that person nor advise that person, because finally I just walked away and I said, all right, be blissful, and I came out. I couldn't tell her anything, what to do, because I have to, it's a what to say that, very difficult game. I have to accept what she calls as devotion, and I have to be polite because she calls me as God. Actually, they will create their own throne and they will put me there, and they will try their best to fix me there, and they will have their own ideas. If that does not match, they themselves will dethrone. It's a big fun. It is a big fun, big responsibility. So I can neither tell her nor, see, if I keep quiet, if I don't tell, it is not, they will not stop doing the same thing, and she will not even get up. So it's a very big problem. When you don't have the clear logic, constantly you create trouble for you and for others, again and again. That is a big problem. Because when the mental setup does not change, you don't understand what you do is wrong. I don't think even now that person understood what she did is wrong. She did not understand. And finally I said, all right, I didn't have time because people are waiting here and all the devotees are waiting with their lamp. So I said, all right, let me go to the class session. Their own logic. When the mental setup does not change, same thing will happen again and again and again. When you look inside the samskaras, suddenly the mental setup changes. When you look into your blueprint, looking in is powerful melting mechanism. It just melts all the samskaras. You will not do the same thing again and again. I have a story. A guy went into a barber shop and said, I want my haircut so that it is all different lengths, round from front and back. There is a strange spiky bit on top and bald patches here, here, here. Barber says, I don't think I can do that. It's weird. This guy says, why not? You did last time I was here. Sometime you do the same thing again and again. Even though you think you can't, you do the same thing again and again. The logic, the mental setup. Patanjali says, look inside. Look inside. Suddenly, the logic changes. You can live without fear, just with purely desires. See, whenever your fear attacks you, you are in hell. Whenever your desire attacks you, you are in heaven. When you are not attacked by anything, you are enlightened. Here Patanjali talks about how to live in heaven. In the next few sutras, he is going to talk about how to live enlightened. He is talking about how to live in heaven. You may think, I don't want to go to heaven, I want to go to enlightenment directly. It is possible. I am not saying it is not possible. But some people may want to live in heaven. You see, when I say heaven, I don't mean you will be shifted to some place and you will be put there. All those Ramba, Urvasi, Menaka and all will be there. And you will have your court. Not that heaven. You will be living with heavenly pleasures. Heaven is not geographical, it is psychological. Heaven and hell are not geographical, it is psychological. If you are constantly attacked by fears, you are living in hell. If you are constantly overflowing with desires, it means you are in heaven. You are living in heaven. Understand? You will constantly overflow with desires only if your earlier desires are getting fulfilled and you have a courage to have desires. Courage to have desires only can create more and more desires. Here, Patanjali gives you the technique. Courage to have desires and courage to live with desires. He is teaching us the technique to live happy life, not blissful life, happy life. Understand? Sometimes people want to have happy life. Patanjali attends the problems of all human beings. Some people want ultimate happiness. Some people think even this normal happiness, nothing wrong. It is okay. He is here to give what we call normal happiness. Only one thing, even with idea of normal happiness, if you learn it from great master like Patanjali, it will beautifully lead you to enlightenment. Be very clear, even the idea of normal life, happy life, if you get it from an enlightened person, it will lead you to enlightenment. If you get that same idea of normal life, happy life, from a wrong source, it may not lead you, it may not permanently make you live happily, and it may not lead you to ultimate happiness. Many times I have read many of these books on positive thinking, stop worrying, start living, many of these books. After reading, there's one more, see, till you read that book, you have 10 worries. Now after reading that book, you have 11th worry, how to stop worrying. All impossible things are taught in the name of happy life. If you want to become a bestseller, I can give you just 3 tips. Write the things which was never practiced by you. Second, talk about the problem in a very big way. People should feel, see, when people read somebody else having the same problem, they feel a kind of a consoled. Nobody wants solution, only people want consolation. When they read, when you are describing the same problem which they are going through in an elaborate way, they feel a kind of a sympathy. You become bestseller. They love you. They know they are not alone. They know they are not alone. And the third idea, never give solution even if you know. These 3, how to become a bestseller author. Very easy. Understand? How to live happy life, even that, let you understand, listen from a great master like Patanjali, who is living blissful life. He himself is not living heaven. He himself is not happy, living happily. He is living blissfully, beyond joy and suffering. But learn from him how to be in joy, so that that joy leads to bliss. Learn things from right person. Accept things from right place. I have a story for you. A boy visited his grandmother with his friend. While the boy was talking to his granny in the kitchen, his friend was eating peanuts from a bowl on the living room table. When it was time to go, the friend called out, "Thanks for the peanuts, Granny." Granny said, "That is okay. Since I lost my dentures, I can only suck the chocolate off them." Don't take peanuts from wrong cup. Don't take even ideas about happy living from wrong persons. Because they would have taken chocolate out of it. I have one more story. One guy was about to give a discourse. Suddenly he realized he kept his false teeth in his house. So he says, the campfire, "No, I may not be able to speak because I have not brought my false teeth." The audience, the first row audience, one guy heard this. overheard. And he just produced one set of teeth and said, "Can you try this?" The speaker tried and it was too loose. He said, "No, I can't." Then again, the guy said, "No, I happen to have one more. Please try this." He tried. "No, it is too tight. I can't." The guy brought one more set and said, "Can you try this?" This guy tried and it fitted and he gave his lecture. After the lecture, the speaker went to the guy who gave the teeth, false teeth, and said, "Thank you. I was really looking for a good dentist like you." The guy said, "Dentist? No, I am not a dentist. I am an undertaker." Don't take false teeth from a person. Even if it fits, don't take from the wrong source. Sometimes the ideas like positive thinking may fit or may look like fitting, but don't take it from the person who is not enlightened. If you take it, then you will realize he is not a dentist, he is an undertaker.
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahasudashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda.
Nithyananda Dhvithiya. And what a beautiful revelation by Swamiji on karma. What is karma? This is just an introduction that Swamiji has given. We'll be going into much more detail as we go on, progress with the day itself. And Swamiji says very beautifully, just at the last of the revelation, he was saying, take the ideas, take the knowledge from the right source. Do not take all this information or knowledge or even the ideas from the wrong source, even if it fits. And
all right, so now we're going to move into an internalization exercise along the same information. So let's have a quick essence of the session itself. So Swamiji beautifully said, flood more awareness, more intelligence into your thinking system. Flood more awareness, more consciousness into your decision-making system. So let's just take a moment and actually let's take a few minutes. We'll take a few minutes and just analyze, are we fully conscious of every action that we engage in? Are we aware of every moment of our life? So just requesting participants, please take a few minutes. We'll be projecting this on the screen. Take a few minutes and just internalize these. So are we fully conscious of every action that we engage in? And are we fully aware of every moment of our lives? So please take a moment.
And scan your actions throughout the whole day. So let's get ready. Have the pen and paper with you. Start penning down.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.